sister, I need to walk with me on this journey. Yes, hold me accountable, 'cause sometimes I need to know the truth. Sister, I love you. We're one in the same, 'cause we're sharing the pain of the world as we know it to be. Sister, I need you to walk with me on this journey. Yes, hold me accountable, 'cause sometimes I need to know the truth. Sister, I love you.
Welcome to the Woman to Woman show, where we believe truth plus transparency equals healing, hosted by Trey Kearney, Regina Booker, Monetta Fields, Sheila Isom, Theodora Carter, and our girl Regina should be popping in, and Shayla in a few minutes. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey ladies, hey beauty flies. How y'all doing?
Hey, everybody.
Another
Hi, good evening, everyone.
hello. Happy International Women's Day to all
Yes,
the
yes.
women out here.
Although every day is Women's Day, but we're
It's
celebrating.
official today.
But today is official.
Yes, happy International Women's Day. So let's go around the room and just, give people a chance to come in and just talk about what are you grateful for. We'll start with you, Regina. What are you just grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my ancestors.
Stand
on the shoulder of them, especially those great women that came before me that laid the path for us. So I'm grateful for all the women that came before us.
Come on now. We starting early tonight. Come on, Sheila. What are you grateful for?
I was going to say mobility, but since it is, International Women's Day, yes, I am grateful for the women that have paved the way for us to be here tonight.
All right. Come on in, Theo.
I am grateful for the same, but I am extremely grateful that my god sister's surgery went well.
Oh, yes.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Come on, Netta.
I too am grateful for the phenomenal women I've been blessed to follow in the footsteps of. I wanted to say also, I'm grateful for my adult children being under my roof this week,
Hey.
Home from college, so that we're able to make more memories together.
Oh, all right. Shayla Williams is in the building. Welcome, Beauty Fly. What are you grateful for in your royal blue? You look amazing.
Thank you. This is actually one of my favorite colors, this and red. I am grateful really for my grandmothers, both paternal and maternal, and my mother. They went through some stuff. And my mom always said to me, she said, girl, do as much as you can, because when I was your age, I couldn't do what you're doing. So go ahead and do what you got to do, girl. So I thank God for them. And so they paved the way, like you ladies have said before. So
yes, I am just grateful for God just answering so many of my prayers. Like doors are opening, just collaborating with other women, just being busy in a good way, and just for the success of our new show on the New You Nation Network, ladies, that we launched, Love Lessons. It was a success. So much positive feedback, and just grateful and thankful for the couple who was on there and just shared, and just really made me realize that I really have some growing to do as a person, as a woman, and as a wife. My husband's not here yet, but I am somebody's wife. But I know why now, because I got some growing to do. So I told God, not until I'm ready. And I saw a little bit that I'm not ready. So when I get ready, God. So again, welcome to the Woman to Woman show. We are celebrating International Women's Day today. And some of our beauty flies were not here with us last week when we jumped off Women's History Month. So I want to go to them, ladies, and ask them to celebrate a woman who inspires, motivates, and encourages them. You can, whoever wants to jump in who wasn't here last week, come on in. Who inspires, encourages, and motivates you?
This one is easy, hot off the press for me. My mother. She is a warrior. She is a winner. She's a thriver, not a survivor of breast cancer. And I'm just honored to have walked along the journey with her and to see God's amazing healing touch firsthand. So that is the woman I'm celebrating tonight.
All right. Come on in, Sheila.
I am celebrating my late fraternal grandmother. As you know, we rally around my dad's house, and I get to speak to my uncles more frequently now than I have in the past years. And we always talk about my grandmother, who was a strong woman that raised 8 boys and 2 girls, all by herself in the South during segregation. And still she maintained her love of family, her faith and trust and belief in the Lord. And to this day, she's made all of her children better people because of the way that she lived her life.
Come on, Grandma. I love that. I love it. So, ladies, tonight our topic is.
I don't think I was here.
I'm sorry, Theo.
I don't remember. I think so.
No, Theo wasn't here either.
So I am celebrating my Aunt Millicent, who is 93 years old.
Ooh.
Still bowls, who still bowls in a league and all this other stuff. Well, I am celebrating her because I believe she is truly an angel on earth. She is just a kind and compassionate, non-judgmental person, and has truly set the bar and the standard for our family when it comes to unconditional love. Loving people unconditionally and without judgment. Like, she has truly set that bar high for us. And I truly believe that I am the woman that I am today because I was blessed to have her as my aunt, because she's still here, and to just glean from all the goodness that is her.
I love that. I love it. How old is she?
She is 93 years old.
93.
Well, 93 years young, because trust me, we try to keep her, still, and she's all over the place. But
leave me alone, y'all.
Exactly.
Y'all this. I got this. Mind your business. So thank you guys for sharing the women that inspired, encourage, and motivate you. And again, during the course of the night, if we want to share more women, we can, because it is International Women's Day. So we could talk about women all night long. But tonight I wanted us to really dive into the topic of healing, mind, body, spirit, emotionally, mentally, because I think that we are in a time right now where there are a lot of people who are hurting, and we just really need to have this conversation. So let's talk about one. Healing is hard. Can we just say healing is hard? I don't care if it's a broken bone or a broken heart. Healing is hard. So why do you guys think that it is hard to heal?
I can go. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, for me, it was to first learn to accept some truths about myself, and the part that I might have taken in whatever situation that caused the pain, the broken heart, the disappointment, whatever that was. So it's first accepting, not only the role that I played, but what truth about me I needed to see and work on, and then go through that process. I kind of almost liken it like when you do cut yourself or you injure yourself in that scab. And yes, I'm a picker, don't judge me. When you try to pick that scab off and it's still not totally healed, so it kind of hurts. And if you completely pick the scab off before it's thoroughly healed, you're opening that wound again. So just knowing that, there's parts of me that I had to work on. It's kind of, where the things that I had to learn.
That self-awareness is key. That is the hard part, because you got to look at yourself in a mirror, especially when it comes to romantic healing And tonight we're talking about all aspects of healing. We're talking about healing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because some of us have been church hurt. Some of us have been church hurt. These church folks will hurt you. And we're not here to judge anybody, but sometimes we go to church and we get our feelings hurt. So come on in, ladies. What's the hardest part about healing, Theo?
I was gonna, well, Shayla kind of hit it on the head when it comes to the romantic side of it, right? That piece of it, right, is it really is having to take a look at yourself and the part you played in it. But I think for me, you know, just talking about the emotional and mental healing really came about when, you know, for me from like 2016 to 2000, I would say probably 18 or beyond, right? Where, you know, as the older you get, unfortunately, right, you start to lose people.
Mm.
And the greatest loss for me was my dad, right? I'm a daddy's girl, and it wasn't so much that he passed away before I thought he should have, right? Although I don't have any control over that. It was the way, right? And so I had to heal from, you know, the what if I had not waited till that Saturday, which was our regular time to talk, to call him. Maybe I would not have walked into an apartment and found him, you know, on the floor, right? No longer here, right? So it was the healing from the what if. It was the healing from being so close to my dad, like being his caretaker, being the, you know, talking to him weekly, not being able to hear his voice, and then realizing that, oh my God, in the midst of the cleaning and taking care of his paperwork, I didn't save the last recording or voicemail message that I had from him, right? It was the kind of, you know, being so in the midst of planning his funeral and taking care of all of his paperwork to like, I really didn't process it or even break down, and probably until about 6 months or 7 months after, right?
Wow.
We buried him, right? It was the first Father's Day without him, the first Thanksgiving Day, the first whatever day, the now Labor Day, which really never really meant anything other than a holiday, the meaning of it, right? Because it was Labor Day weekend when it all transpired. And so it was really finding a way to heal from that, which I've done, right? I'm probably always gonna feel the loss, but I've learned how to live without him, right? So I've learned how to celebrate him. So he loved ice cream. So every birthday now, on his birthday, July 29th, you will find me somewhere having ice cream, sitting and having ice cream with my dad. Right? Because I know he's up in heaven eating all the ice cream in the world that he could have. Right? So I would say that was the hard part. And I think other people go through that as well, because people will try to tell you how to heal and how long it should take you to heal. Loss, right? And after my dad, it was my uncle who was like a father, and then my aunt who was like my mom, and then my god brother, right? And so it just accumulated, right? And so it's the trying to heal with people looking at you like, why are you still sad? Why are you getting over it? That's life. It's you know, it happens. We live and we die, right?
Wow. The healing from the what ifs, that hit me hard. That hit me in my neck, like, oof. And then the healing on top of the healing, on top of the healing, on top of the other healing. Because how do you lose 4 people in a row? You got a lot of healing to do. Like, you can't stop healing from one person. You got to go through the process of healing from your father, to go to the process of healing from your auntie, to go to the process of healing. And then again, grief hits you, and you got to start healing all over again. Come on in, Sheila.
You know, Shayla had started off by saying, but I think it's the hardest thing about healing is admitting that you're not whole, admitting that you're not okay, admitting that you need to actually work on something or work on yourself, especially if it means that you can't do it by yourself.
Ooh, wow. Netta, Gina, you guys want to come in?
I would say one thing that makes healing hard is the wound is usually unexpected.
Mm.
You know, it's not something you can prepare for. So it's that out of the blue, knock the wind out of you type of situation that causes it to be hard because I didn't see that thing coming, right? When you hurt yourself, literally, you don't necessarily try to do it, but when it happens, it catches you off guard. I think that's what makes it really hard.
Mm.
Part of it.
Wow. Wow. Regina. Ooh.
I would say kind of the opposite. Well, still the healing. My healing, I didn't think, I mean, I knew that I needed healing, but the healing didn't, the process didn't start for me until I lost my father. So when I lost my father, all the layers came off, all the stuff opened up, everything that I thought I was, I guess, okay with, start happening. The being the oldest child, taking care of everything, being the mom, the single mom raising two kids, one on the stray and one, I mean, two different spectrums of them, and the relationship of breaking up with a marriage. But it
Mm.
wasn't until my father passed I faced all of that, not knowing that I didn't face it, which is still hard, but it made me face it. And one day, my brother told we were just having a conversation, and he said, "You know what? You always was always taking care of everyone, always walking around and doing this." He said, "But when things came to you, you stuck your head like you just stuck your head in the sand and kept on going and let people just walk all over you. And now I see a different you because now you're fighting back." And it kind of stuck me because like I said, I just wouldn't. So it's still a healing process. But when I thought I was healing, it wasn't until the death of my father that I faced all you just said it, like Netta just said, it hit me, it whammed me. Like, where did this come from?
Wow.
So it was that the layers coming off and facing it, and
Wow. Wow. So many things. And Gina, Regina, you just made such an amazing point of there's so many things that we have to heal from at one time. The death of your father, the loss of your marriage, to a child that's wayward. We are constantly in motion of healing from something, right? And it's just crazy that we're thinking like, I have to heal because of my father or my mother passed away. When we haven't even healed from layers and layers and layers of stuff from childhood, from having a parent who was an alcoholic, or from having a not being a daddyless daughter, or going through the storm of infidelity, or trying to raise a kid, or having a miscarriage, or having to have an abortion, or again, something unexpected, like Netta said, somebody leaving you or walking out. And then we're not even talking about just men or romantic relationships, a friendship that ends, and you got all this other stuff around you, the death of a child that you thought you had, but you got a child on the spectrum. There's so many layers of healing that people, when they say healing, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, she broke up with somebody. No, we're not always talking about a man. There are other things that happen in our life. And I think the hardest part about healing is it usually requires us to make a choice from something that we didn't cause, right? Like it usually requires us to make a choice to heal from something that we didn't even cause. So we have justification of why we don't want to heal, or am I making a choice to heal because now I gotta remove the discrepancy that happened to me because I didn't ask for this, right? I didn't ask for a child on the spectrum. I didn't ask for certain breakups. I didn't ask for my mom to pass away. I didn't ask for these things, but I have to make a conscious decision. Even at my worst moment, as Theo would always say, healing is a choice. I have to make a conscious decision to say, I want to heal. Because in order to heal, you have to want to heal. So I think the hardest part about it is usually the healing that is required comes at the hands of something or someone that we didn't deserve it from, or it wasn't our own doing. So why should I have to go through this pain of healing again, because like I said, healing is painful, right? Healing hurts. Healing is a process. And again, as Shayla would say, if you're a scab picker, if you're a scabber, you know, and I call it in my course, the recovery room, scabbing. Like, you can't keep picking at the wound because you're never going to heal. So ladies, you could come on in and let's talk about what are some ways to heal, either way, mentally, physically, emotionally. What are some steps that you took to heal in your worst moments? Like, I had to really, for me to heal from my child who had autism, I'll just start. For me to heal from Jermaine, from the diagnosis of autism, not to heal from Jermaine, but to heal from the diagnosis of autism, I really had to have a funeral and grieve the child with the five. You know, we in the hospital, we count 5 fingers, 10 toes. Is his eye? He got 2 eyes. He got ears. What is my baby whole? And then to get a diagnosis of something neurological that was not able to see because he looked like everything was intact. And to have to grieve and mourn, I had to literally let go of the child that I thought I was getting and accept the child that God gave me. I had to literally heal from that. And the way that I was able to heal from that was to mourn the loss, to go through the grieving process of why me? Why would you do this to me, God? What did I do to deserve this? I took my prenatal vitamins. I didn't drink when I was pregnant. Like, why? And I had to really just mourn the loss and be mad at God and go through all of the anger, the grief, the frustration, and then say, you know what? I am blessed with this child that God gave me. I am so blessed. There is a woman out here that can't have a baby. And again, I want us to understand that our pain is not negated or shrunken because of the thought of there's a woman that can't have a baby, but it brings things back into perspective of how dare you? First of all, you got 3 sons. So how dare you question God? How dare you be upset when you got a gift? It didn't come the way you wanted it, but you got a gift. So ladies, how do we recover? How do we begin to heal?
I think Shayla kind of hit on it in the beginning. At least for me, it was really, first of all, just admitting that I needed help. Like that day I called you crying, like it was probably the hardest thing to do, but it was necessary. And that was like the beginning of me saying, you know what? You could either wallow and stay in this little depressive functional state that you're in, walking around like you're good in the day and crying all night, and or you can just admit that, you know, you're not good and that you need help. And it's crazy, right? Because although we were connected, I didn't know you as well as I know you now, right? And so I think that made it easier because it wasn't like a friend or somebody, right? It was like you were at that point associate, right? Now you're like a friend and a sister, but at that point, okay, I was like, I could tell her that I'm not good, you know. But I think for me, it was really, truly making a choice to not want to be like, I didn't want to be sad, and the thing that sent me into the depression, like it was all of these things, but then that final thing was that messed up breakup, right? And which was actually a blessing, right? As you go through the process. But I really was like, you know what? I don't want to be sad. Like, I don't want to be walking around like this. And I'm tired of pretending that I'm good. Right. And I'm sure some people knew like the people closer to me knew that something was up, but I was just tired of pretending that I was good. And I was like, I want to be whole. Right. And it was hard because, like Shayla said, like it was like digging deep and really figuring out, hey, little girl, some of this stuff that's been happening, you know, you could have controlled some of it. Right. Not the death and stuff, but like the relationship stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It was really beginning to look at the part I played in it. And not to say that I did anything wrong, but it was really having to look at who are you and how are you going to come out of this differently?
Woo! That accountability piece will kick you in your stomach when you got to look at yourself and say, wait a minute, little girl, as Theo just said, you own some of this. Own your stuff. And another thing that you said that was so good, I didn't want to be sad anymore. It's like a person that is, eating all the wrong food and sick. You only can heal and be better when you don't want to be that thing anymore. Like, my bones is hurting, my stomach is hurting, I always got diarrhea, I'm getting these headaches. At that point, when you get those migraines, you will stop finally what happened to migraine, and you'll finally stop drinking the Coke. Right? Because so many of us, we sick, but we still eating the sugar, we still drinking the Coca-Cola, we still doing stuff, and it's a choice. Like Theo said, I didn't want to be sad anymore. Come on in, ladies.
I would say for me, it was I allowed myself to have a pity party because I'm mad. I'm mad at everybody. I'm gonna fuss, cuss, throw shoes, do everything. And then once I get done having my pity party, then I realized, I played a part just like Theo said. What part did I play? Especially in that marriage. I'll touch on marriage. Because there were some things, even though my husband wasn't doing right, I was a Christian. And I didn't really learn this until I kind of got back in the word, because I don't want to say I was church hurt, but I was spiritually hurt somewhere that I stopped kind of listening.
But wait a minute. See how them layers of healing be exposed like an onion? She said, I wouldn't say I was church hurt, but I wasn't praying and reading the Bible no more. Go ahead. Come on, Regina.
So when I call myself one of the experience, I remember when me and my husband was really going through it, and he charged me to say, well, what, and he threw some biblical stuff. And I was like, how dare you, all the stuff you done did, you done cheated on me, you done out y'all them streets, you drinking in it, gonna throw some Bible stuff on me, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going in. And I went back to church, and I realized in Bible study, I was charged to be a wife when he was doing wrong. I was like, oops. So I know going into the next relationship, now that doesn't mean you have to stay. But when he was doing wrong, was you still being a wife? Was you praying? Was you doing?
Oh.
So after I had my pity party, I had to pick the layers, and it was things that I did. And not only with that, with work, passing up the promotions, because I was still somewhere doing something else that I wasn't supposed to do. Then I get mad at the people, this, and the other. But you played a part in that.
Woo! Come on, Regina. Y'all know what? Regina is wisdom, right? And Regina has told her age before. So Regina is 60. Our big sister. Our big sister. We all stair steps here. But she's our big sister. And Regina is a quiet, she's that unexpected turbulence. Y'all know what I'm saying? When you ain't expecting the turbulence and all of a sudden the plane takes you like, whoa, God, she just stepped on my toes again. Netta, you wanted to come in?
I guess I do. I would say for me, it was acknowledgement, not living in this can't be, this isn't real, we're all good, everything's fine, but acknowledging, no, everything's not fine. But from there, it was not knowing how to heal. What do I do? How do I get past where I am? I know I shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here, but what do I do? Where do I go? I didn't know what to do with what I was feeling. And in comes Trey with the recovery room and gave me the tools I needed to see what it was, what role I played, and what was to be released, what I could not control. So that was really it for me, understanding how to heal. You can have a want or a desire, but if you don't know the how, you stay stuck.
Woo wee! Y'all coming through with the knowledge tonight. Sheila, come on in.
And I think it's funny because you listen to us and there's always that resounding theme where we're all talking about accountability and what role you played in it and how you were able to move on from there. When I look at some of the defining moments with the demise of my first marriage, I look back at one time where, it was finally recognizing that in spite of all the pain, I did not have to always be strong, that I could allow myself to be vulnerable. And there was one time where I just needed to cry and talk it out and yell to somebody without someone coming to my rescue. And I called my best friend in North Carolina specifically because I knew that there was nowhere in the world that she was going to be able to say, oh, I'm coming over there. I'll be there right away. I just needed to let it all out and have somebody on the other end just listening, because I needed at that moment to be vulnerable without somebody trying to rescue me.
Oh my God.
And then getting back to that accountability piece, when I looked at it, and my ex-husband was like, at one point, he's like, well, let's go to our pastor and go for counseling. And we make the appointment and he doesn't show up. And I was devastated. But then something clicked in me and it said, Sheila, this wasn't for him. This wasn't for us, the couple. This was for you, because you needed to fix your relationship or get on the road to healing your relationship with God.
Oh my God.
None of this is possible, whether it's joy or pain or anything else. None of this is possible without him. And you've been putting everything else before him. So this is for you. He wasn't supposed to show up to that session, even though it was him that suggested it. He wasn't supposed to show up. I needed to show up.
Woo wee! Listen here. Come on, Jesus. Jesus then came through for us tonight. If we don't get nothing else, while Netta is setting up for our therapy card, I wasn't sure if you had it, so I was going to set it up for us. I just want to say one of the things that I learned about healing is acceptance. And I learned this. I've been teaching this. My people that came to the recovery room, my clients that know me know my first thing I start with is the end result, where we're trying to get to, and that is acceptance. And the first thing I teach in the recovery room, and to my clients who are going through the storms of infidelity or betrayal or trauma with their mama, whatever it might be, is accepting the fact that it's over. Accepting that you don't have control of the situation is the ultimate healer in life, right? And I learned this when my brother passed away in 2020, when I got that phone call. This is when it really hit me that you teaching good, but you haven't been hearing your own teaching. Like, accepting the fact that it's over is what God gave me that for other people, but he really gave it to me for me. And I didn't know he gave it to me for me until I got that phone call and I was sitting on the side of the bed, and I don't have a man, right? So who you call when you don't have a man? Come on, Jesus, where's my husband? Okay, anyway, let me get back to the story. But when I was sitting on the side of the bed and I was trying to think about who to call, I had a calming over me, because first I was like, you need to breathe before you have a heart attack, and there's nobody here, the kids asleep. Breathe through this. And then the Holy Spirit spoke to me. God spoke to me and said, this is out of your control, right? There's nothing you can do about this. Now, you could run through this house, you could scream, you could fall out, you could act a fool, you could curse, you could damn me, you could not trust me anymore, you could lose your faith. But the one thing you can't do about this situation, Trey, is change it. So the best thing for you to do right now is to accept that your brother is gone and there's nothing you could do about it. Now I want you to process that on the side of this bed, and I want you to decide how you're going to react. Now, the decision is you're going to have an anxiety attack. You're going to go outside and run in the street in the cold. You're going to go scream. You're going to go wake up the neighbor, or you're going to do whatever. But what are you going to do? And I sat there and I accepted that there was nothing I could do, and I was calm. And I was like, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you. Let me just pause for a minute. Let me breathe. Let me figure out who my next phone call is going to be. Let me find out if my brothers and my brother and my sisters know. Let me find out what. And again, as us as nurturers and healers and caretakers, my mind went straight to who I could help. So one of the things I want people who are listening right now is to understand that acceptance is a gift from God. When there is nothing else that you can do, when you have no control over the situation, when you want to heal, accept that God is in control. And if you love the Lord, it is working out in your favor. So I just wanted to share that's like one of my major healing things when things happen to me. Like I'm just really in the mode of getting to the fact of whether it was a friendship that I lost, accept the fact that it's over. If that person don't want to speak to you no more, Trey, what you gonna do? Or if you don't want to speak to that person, if it was just accept it for what it was and move forward. So Netta, come on in with that. Oh Lord, I'm scared of the therapy card. I'm scared. Y'all scared? Y'all scared of the therapy card? Because we about to have therapy on a card from Dr. Ebony. Come on in, Netta.
Okay, so here's the card I pulled. On a scale of 0 to 10, do you trust yourself to create the change you want?
I think we had that card before.
Did we have this one already?
I think so.
Okay, well, let me pull another one then. It's more in here.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that card, but we could pull another one.
I think we did have that card.
Okay, we got another one.
Okay.
What situations lead you to engaging in old, ineffective
no.
habits?
Oh God, stuck with the other card.
Taylor won the test.
Give the other card.
Bring back the other card.
Identify what happens in these situations that lead you to the old habits.
Ooh, wait, read that one more time for the people. And then if you're in the chat, welcome to the Woman to Woman Show. We're here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Woman to Woman Show or live in the Woman to Woman Facebook group. At the 8:30 hour, we do a therapy card where we share openly whatever the question is. So we want you to answer in the chat if you feel like it, if you want to share so we can walk through it with you, work through it with you, and get you to the other side of healing. Again, one more time, Netta, and whoever wants to jump in first, feel free.
Again, this is from Dr. Ebony. The question is, what situations lead you to engage in old, ineffective habits?
Ooh, who wants to come in first? What situations lead you? Situation. Go ahead, Regina.
Loneliness.
Oh, I'm gonna put my head down on that one.
Loneliness has made me pick up the phone and be like, oh my God. Then when I get off, I'm like, why in the world?
Ow.
So loneliness mixed with frustration, depression, all combined makes triggers go off. And it could be romantically, and what I'm my journey of healthness too. It will make me, like you said, Trey, that Coke. I'm a Coke lover. Gave it up. I'll get that Coke and that candy bar. But those type of things drive me to doing something unhealthy physically, mentally. I don't know about spiritually yet, but mentally and physically will just
Wow.
And then especially when I pick up that phone, knowing that I should have made that call.
Wow. She said she go get the Coke and the candy bar. A habit that she trying to break, make her go back to an old habit. Which situations lead you to engage in old, ineffective habits? Who wants to come in next?
I'll come in. I would say those times where I'm feeling like, things are not happening, right? Like you said, Trey, like, God, where's my man? Or I'm pressing forward with, growing these businesses and I'm like, it's not moving too fast, right? Or, just when I, where I feel like I get stuck or in a place that I don't want to be. And so I usually will internalize, right? So I'm quick to go like into myself, right? To be a recluse, to quiet, right? And so that's why I keep a therapist on hand.
I know that's right.
And that's why I keep Trey's number. Right? but no, in all seriousness, it's like I know what can trigger me into going into that functional depression state, right? Where I'm gonna go into this, okay, I'm good when I'm in front of people, and then when I'm by myself, or I'm avoiding, right? Or I'm just trying to stay to myself. So I would say, for me, I've learned that I have to recognize that things happen in God's time when they're supposed to happen, and everything that happens is for my good. And when it happens, it will be in his time and for my good. And that there is something that he needs me to work on or work through, right, before he can give me that thing that I know he's going to give me, that I'm waiting for, right? And so, but I do have to recognize that, right? So that's why I have to stay, spiritually connected, right? It's not about the church and the church building. It's about my personal relationship with him. That's why every morning I start with daily devotionals and sitting still and in prayer. And you know what? I will say, I know the Lord loves me. I know the Holy Spirit, but I also know that he made therapists for a reason.
Woo wee. Come on now with that therapist. Come on in. Hey, Gina in the building.
Hey.
Our beauty fly is here, all 7 of us. Come on, Gina, you want to share what situations lead you to engage in old, ineffective habits?
When I'm stuck in a project, or my business is dragging, or something's going on with my children, and I feel like I want to be Captain Save a Mom. I was going to say something else, but it's not appropriate. So,
Don't start.
and I'm trying, but and I can't, right? Because either it's out of my control. My children are grown, and biting my fingernails won't get them to listen, or eating those extra snacks won't help. But wanting to do more for them, or looking at what I need for myself and feeling like it's not coming fast enough, or I'm not making the moves, then it's like I retreat, like Theo said. I could be comical, funny, all that other stuff, but when I feel stuck, I just get quiet. And then it becomes a relationship with, Doritos and Lay's, and that's not really a healthy relationship. Or I make the excuse that the produce in my supermarket isn't good, but them potato chips, child, they stay good for 6 months. Let me stop. Okay. But so it's just really, when I'm feeling like I'm not moving fast enough at what I should be doing, and I think I played a beat up game. So I may not do it out loud in front of people, but internally, I'm not moving, and then I start maybe eating something I shouldn't eat, or just not reaching out and asking for help because I'm just so annoyed, and I retreat. I retreat to myself.
Wow. Sheila or Netta? Don't hide from the therapy card. Don't hide from the therapy card.
Not hiding. I'm coming out right here. I come. The situation that leads to engaging in old, ineffective habits for me is wanting something for someone more than they want it for themselves.
Whoa.
And then, I go and just pick up all the pieces, and I'm calling, I'm encouraging, I'm there, and then eventually the light bulb comes on, like they sleeping and you not.
Wow.
They're getting their rest and you're staying up at night. Something is wrong with this picture. So being very aware when I stepped into the, I guess, rescuer mode, that's ineffective.
That
Yeah.
is ineffective. That's an ineffective habit. But the great thing about us having these conversations is we're recognizing that some of these things are triggered, and we go back into doing things that we said we were not going to do anymore. Like for me, y'all know, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm good that this is not. I can say this before technology would send me into old habits of negative self-talk. You're not good enough, right? And that's a habit I think we all work on a regular basis of negative self-talk. Because before a positive thought kicks in, the enemy sends a negative thought to tell you when you're sitting down, you're about to make a frame or a graphic. Oh, you ain't gonna do this. Like this not gonna be good. You don't know what you're doing. You dumb. Like you ain't educated enough. You know. And then you get those old habits come in where you're defeated instead of you keep trying. Or it will send me onto social media, and then I'll be scrolling, scrolling, scrolling for an hour. And then I'm like, oh shoot, I could have created 52 graphics. But it's that habit that kicks in to self-soothe, to see other people's problems on social media really is self-soothing, because you'd be like, well, look at them, or what is they doing, or why is she doing that, or if somebody is doing something good, like, oh, that's so great. So we got to be mindful of the things that trigger us, and one of them was technology. But I have changed all the way from that negative thought of technology. I don't say I hate technology anymore. I love technology. I could do this. I got this, and I'm gonna be okay. So come on in, ladies. Who hasn't spoken? Sheila.
Yeah.
Oh,
For me, it's that dreaded M word that we all we bought into, multitasking.
Oh,
And there might have been a time when I was good at it, but now I lose focus quickly. I lose interest. I want to so desperately tackle several things at one time, but then the realization hits that I become a jack of all trade and a master of none, because even just touching on something a little bit here and then moving on, then I'm not giving my full attention, my full knowledge, my full energy to that first thing that I was working on, that I probably could have completed if I had stuck with it, instead of trying to, whether it's to please everybody else or to even pretend like I'm satisfying myself by checking things off of the list, and then not realizing that I've left so much off of
oh,
everything that was on that list.
wow. Multitasking, jack of all trades and master of none. Not getting nothing done. A
Yeah.
little bit of this and a little bit of that. Come on in, Shayla.
I have to let you all go first so I can think about it and write it down. So the habit is not being able to say no.
Oh,
And
yep.
especially when it's something that someone is asking you to do at the last minute. And and I'm finding myself, like, if I feel sorry for the person, or and I go ahead and say yes, and then find myself in a pickle because now I'm wrestling to try to do this thing last minute. And then you all know the what happens. What is it, the Murphy's Law? When something starts to go, everything goes wrong. and
Yep.
and, and so I've found myself in that situation. So yeah, so the habit is not being able to say no, and then that triggers that one person that is like, can you please? And then I feel bad, and I feel sorry for them, and I want to help, and yeah, that's
I love
that's
it. I love
it
it.
for
No,
me.
that's good. That's a bad habit of always saying
Yeah,
yes. That is
yeah.
a bad habit, and we all have it. And we're always constantly working on it. And thank you, Shayla, for bringing it to light for all of us
Mhm.
again, because that is a thing that creeps up that we are not aware of all the time. You'll be saying yes for 6 months straight, and we just talked about this with Regina, but Regina talked about a little bit about to put more on her plate than she should have, and recognizing it though, and that's the key. The key is actually recognizing that I'm doing too much. So we have 10 minutes left. So we are gonna Gina just came in. So Gina, we were talking all about healing tonight, and one of the questions was, what do you do to get into the process of healing? Because I want to hear from you.
Well, there's so many things that I've been like healing from. I think Theo, Theo said a couple of things around. I think a lot of people talked about the accountability piece, different from beating yourself up. Just being able to acknowledge anything you could have done versus saying it's my fault, because that's not a win, like right there. So I've learned how to stop saying it's my fault and then to say what part am I responsible for. The stuff in my childhood, I was not responsible for any of it. I was a child. But as I got older, I took some of that stuff with me of the feelings, whether it was neglect or relationship or anything. So I started catching that. I started saying, hey, you're not the little girl that was going through what you went through. You're a grown woman now. So you got to handle things. You got to handle different. You have power to handle it differently now. You have a say. You have a
Mm.
voice. Before I didn't have a voice. Before I felt like I didn't have a say. So I had to realize that the habit of allowing someone to take my power or to acquiesce because of fear of not getting affection or attention or being respected, I had to stop that because I'm not a child. I'm grown.
Mm.
So once I started acknowledging that I needed to heal from that, I did start getting help. And getting help is good. Everybody said it. Some stuff you can't do by yourself. And you could pray to the Lord. You could pray to Jesus Christ and you could ask the Holy Spirit to read you, to give you a right scripture. But he made therapists and coaches and psychologists for a reason. Use them too if you need them.
Yes.
So, just saying. So, I've needed a little bit of some of that at different times, sometimes a little more, depending on what my situations were. But the fact that you want to heal, I need to heal to be a better version of myself so I can pour out to the ones that's coming behind me. So I have a desire to heal so I can be a better version and to be able to share from my testimony that I overcame it. Because
Mm.
my story is for some people that don't think they can get through it. And I can tell them the devil is a lie because I know what it was not to smile, not to laugh, not to feel like anything was going to be worth anything concerning me. And all that was a lie. And I'm
Mm.
here to prove it. I'm a
Mm.
walking testimony that what I thought was not me, and I had to get shook out of my stuff. And the Lord said, wait, what you doing? You wasted all that good stuff. You better get it together, miss. I
Mm.
got you. Now cut
Woo.
it out. This person over here can help you. That person over there can help you. Read your Bible. Trust in my word. Move when I give you it to move. And if you stay still a little bit too long, don't worry, I'm going to nudge you. But I
Mm.
love you and I got you. And
Woo.
when I started really hearing that, sometimes I ain't going to front like stuff don't happen, but I don't stay stuck as long as I used to.
Mm. Pass the collection plate, somebody. Pass the collection plate.
Yeah,
Pastor
I'm
Gina.
done. I'm
Pastor,
done.
pass the collection plate because Pastor Gina they had a whole sermon on us. See what I mean? She came in late, but she did her thing just now. Come on, Pastor Gina. She said, listen here. He shook me loose. And he said, you going to get stuck, but I'm going to nudge you because you're not going to stay there too long. So, ladies, we're going to go around the room and give a final thought on healing for emotional, spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever that looks like for you. Let's just go around the room and share. And whoever wants to start can start, or I can call on the name. Shayla, you want to start?
Yes, because I wanted to comment before on the church hurt part. So my final words to that tonight and has to do with church hurt. If you're in a Bible teaching church and you're learning and someone in the church hurts you badly, that's a someone, not the entire church, not
Mm.
everyone. Don't leave your church home because of that one or maybe two or three people. But understand that sometimes the enemy uses others to get to you. So that means that there was a purpose and a reason for you to be there. And if you allow those other people to get you out, then you have you kind of lost in that moment. So if you are in a, and let me stress this, if you are in a Bible teaching church and you are learning and being fed properly, don't allow someone else to remove you from that place of worship. Yes, and also make sure that your relationship with God is solid or it's growing, you're working on it, because that's the only way you will know that those persons or people or spirits are enacting a plan to get you out.
Woo! Come on, we going to church now. Gina then started a sermon in a congregation. Come on, who wants to go? Come on in next. Listen, because you're about to drop the mic. I know it.
I'll go. We at church, so I got a scripture.
Come on now.
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, and I'm reading the New Living Translation. Get wisdom. It's the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment. So my final words is, don't waste the lessons. Whether they're yours or those you're connected to, or even from one of us tonight, don't waste the lessons. You don't have to repeat everything to learn for yourself. You don't have to do it firsthand. Those you've been around, glean from them. This is International Women's Day. There are some lessons that have been taught from before us. Don't waste the lesson.
Ooh, we went to church on the people. Come on, who coming in next? Because we in Proverbs and stuff. Come on, Regina.
Okay. Make peace with yourself.
Oh.
Just make peace with yourself. God has an image for you. You are uniquely made. And until you make peace with yourself, you can't do anything else, because there's a whole bunch of broken pieces that you got to make peace with. And once you make peace with that, you can start rebuilding and you can start healing.
I'm about to run around this room in like 2 seconds. I'm about to kick my shoes up like Patti LaBelle. I ain't playing. Sheila, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, mine is just don't run away from the healing. It's understand that it is a process. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to hurt. It's going to be ugly. It's going to surface things that you had in the recesses of your mind, things you had in the recesses of your heart. But in the end, it is cathartic. It is going to help you. It's not going to take away the next time that you're hurt. It's not going to take away the next time that you grieve something, but don't run away from the healing, because that's part of your life lesson.
Ooh. Gina, you want to come in?
Look at here. Sheila said a whole extra word. I just want to say that you deserve to heal. So none of us are perfect. And you don't have to be perfect or deserve it from people. Just like you have a right to be here and you have a right to be treated with dignity and respect, you have a right to heal. But you have to be willing to go through the process to get to the other side, because the other side is there. Don't be afraid to take the steps and get the help if you need the help. Get it, because it will change your life. You deserve to be healed.
Woo!
And you deserve to do the work. Do the work. You deserve to work. If you go to a job and work for somebody, or if you can do a contract for somebody, then you deserve to treat yourself like the business you are. Take care of yourself. You are the main ingredient. And if your ingredient isn't good and you allow yourself to get stale, then you're not good for anybody else. So you deserve to heal. You deserve to heal.
She said, wait a minute. She said, do the work. You go to your job and do the work. See, when you go to your job and do the work, Gina just laid it on the line. You go to your job and do the work, you get a paycheck. You do the work on yourself, you get healed. That is the pay. The pay is the heal and the wholeness. Come on, y'all. And you deserve the heal. Come on, Theo.
So mine is going to be threefold. I'm going to try to make it quick. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that disappointment, that rejection, that loss, right? See it for what it is, right? It's not all of those things. It's God's protection, right? So that's the first thing. Sometimes we think when something is taken away from us or someone leaves us or whatever that, it's rejection. It's not. It's God's protection. The second thing I'm going to say is it's a quote that I actually posted. So it's not mine. So it's a quote that one day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide. Right. And so for me, I will say that one of the things I learned is that there was my purpose came out of what I went through. Right. Which is why I became a certified life coach. Right. Which is why I now want to help other women, right, be able to manage and go through the things they go through, but especially women who are executive and bosses and feel like that we can't show people that we hurt and we're human and we always want to wear this mask that we're okay. Right. And so, I want people to understand that, sometimes that thing you're going through is really birthing your purpose. And the third thing that I will say is that, yes, healing is hard, but it is a choice, which is why I wear this hoodie that I have on. And I also made the t-shirts that I made, right? Because I want women to understand that as hard as it is a choice. It's a hard choice, but it's a choice that we all need to make, which is to heal. Because like Ina said, we deserve to heal because healing will make us whole.
Woo. Listen, I'm gonna make mine short and sweet because y'all done hit everything on the head. So I'm just gonna say, when we are in a space of brokenness or hurting physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the enemy wants us to give up, right? So my word of advice to you and my final word to you is God just wants you to surrender that thing to him. So the enemy wants you to give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. That is when the enemy wins. That is when you never heal. That is when you stay a victim. That is when you stay in a broken place. God has made it possible for you to surrender that thing. And when you surrender it all to God and give it to him and trust him, the healing begins. And again, we say this on the Woman to Woman show, truth plus transparency equals healing. And that is to throw yourself on the mercy of God and say, Lord, I surrender my mind, my body, my spirit, my soul, my house, my kids, my money, my man, my car, my life. I surrender it all to you, God. And I trust that I'm going to heal, but surrender. And again, as Theo said, healing is a choice. You have to want to heal. A lot of us are happy in a victim space because it's the only thing that we know to make us feel. And we want to feel something. But again, I'm going to bring it back around to Gina. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to heal. And when you heal, you feel good. Don't get stuck on that bad feeling because you don't feel anything else. So again, instead of giving up, I encourage you to surrender. Thank you for tuning in. We don't take that lightly. It's a privilege to be in your life every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Woman to Woman show. Follow us on Instagram at W2W Show, W2W Show. Please subscribe to the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. And don't forget to share, because sharing is caring. Again, we believe that truth plus transparency equals healing. And remember, you are only as sick as your secrets. It's healing time. We will see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. We'll see you soon. Don't forget to follow, friend, and like all of us. And if you need help, please reach out to any of us, and we are here for you. So we'll see you guys next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Woman to Woman Show on the New You Nation Network. Peace and blessings.
Sister, I need to walk with me on this journey.